Okay everybody, this is a follow-up on the first video I made. So this is video number 2, function transformation part 2. Okay, this one's going to be a bit shorter than the last one. Here we go. So basically guys, this is my video here. We're going to discuss these 4 shapes here. And these graphs I should say. And when we're done, hopefully you will be a master of function transformations. So let's start with my gold marking here. Notice the first graph, which I will call red here. Let's analyze it by the function. Notice the +1 at the end. Again, you should notice a +1 means, if you look at the graph, see how it went up 1 space. Okay. What about the x minus 3 part? Well, +3 makes that 0. And a +3 means it's going to shift to the right 3 spaces. What about the 9 in front? Well, remember, the larger I make the coefficient, guys, the more stretched it's going to be. It's going to grow faster. And if you look at the overall shape here, guys, it's now in gold. That's what happened. Okay? And it's really that simple. I mean, there's other things you're going to learn later on, guys, but these are the main basics. If you get these down, then everything else should be simpler. Okay, let's follow the green this time. So the green is going to go with my blue function. Let's look at the function itself. Notice a -2. So notice how the graph went down 2 spaces. Notice the +4. Now you think a little bit backwards. A -4 +4, 0. Notice from the origin I had to go 4 spaces over. -4, right? So a +4 really means a -4. And then finally the 2 coefficient in front. What did that do? Well, notice my parabola has a pretty usual shape that we've graphed many times before. But it is a little bit more narrower than a typical x squared. Okay? So, hopefully there's no questions so far. Now, let me clean up here. And let's go to the green function. And I'll use my purple marker this time. So with my purple marker, I'm going to actually do this green function right here. And notice the +3 again. If you look over at my green graph, did it not go up 3 spaces from the origin? Notice the x minus 2 again. A +2 will make 2 minus 2, 0, right? And notice if we go from the origin, I had to go over 2 spaces to get to that vertex. So in other words, the -2 means right 2. The +3 means up 3. And finally, did you notice how the graph is actually flipped over? It's upside down and it's also wider. Why is that? Well, look at the coefficient in front. That negative is going to flip it over and make it open down. And the 1/4 is going to make it grow slower again. That's why it has a wider shape. Hopefully this is all making sense. But again, this is a video you ought to watch several times, guys. Pause in the middle perhaps. Watch it again a couple times to get this basic ideas down. Now finally, let me clean up here one more time. And let's look at the final graph, which I'll use red on. This one, of course, is in purple, I believe, or dark blue. Notice the +4, guys, right there. Well, what did it do? If you notice, the vertex is up 4 spaces from the x-axis. Let's look at the x +1. That -1 would make it 0. Notice how the vertex is 1 to the left from the origin. So in other words, the x +1 means left 1. And the +4 means up 4. And then finally, notice the -3 coefficient in front. Well, what did that do? Well, the negative, notice how the parabola is again flipped down. It's opening down instead of up. The -3, if you look at the overall shape, guys, it's a little bit narrow, for example, than the 2 right next to it here, right? It's definitely not quite as narrow as the 9 x squared that we originally looked at, the first graph we looked at, okay? And hopefully you're piecing this all together, guys. Negative is down, positive is up. A large number like 9 means it's going to be stretched. A smaller number like 1/4 means it's going to get wider, and it's going to grow slower, in other words. And that's it, guys. Pause the video if you need to. Rewind it if you need to. So anyways, guys, hopefully this video made sense, especially when combining it with video number 1. I'll see you in class. Bye.